Which Washington Wizards progress, regress, and surprise this season? And what should the Wizards do as far as draft strategy? And who has the highest draft or trade value, that is, in the offseason? A lot to talk about. Come on, rock with your boys. Next on Locked On Wizards.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's good, Wiz fams? Your boy BScott again with my guy AB, and today we got special guest Josh Valdez today joining the show, man. How you doing today, Josh?
I'm good. How you boys?
Another day in the life, brother. So, like I said, definitely appreciate you coming on the show today, man. You're somebody that I definitely see you down there, Cat One, putting in that work, man. Very impressed, big fan of your work, man. So, like I said, it's just a matter of time before I got you on the show, man. So, definitely appreciate you on the show. So, a lot to talk about today. Which Wizards players progress, regress, and surprise this season? What should the Wizards draft strategy be? And who has the highest trade value heading into the off season? So, like I said, a lot to talk about. First things first. So, we're going to start with you, Josh. Looking at the current state of the Wizards, obviously 15 wins just like last year. I was hopeful they could probably pop out a few more wins, but now the youth movement has formally started. All right, so looking at the overall picture with the Washington Wizards, which players progressed, regressed, and who surprised you this season?
I mean, I think the player that's progressed the most over the course of the year is probably Keyshawn George. He's basically doubled all his stats since the beginning of the year. I was just talking to someone in the organization about that. It's kind of amazing. Obviously, I think a lot of Wizards fans know that ever since Kuz got traded, Keyshawn pretty much got unlocked. Now he's pretty much, as I said, doubled almost all of his stats. I think he has 29 straight games with a three, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, which is a franchise record, I think. So, and it's like the most for a rookie since last year, I think. So he's doing a lot, to put it mildly. So. Over the course of the year, I would say Keyshawn. I think Bilal made good progress defensively because he was pretty much getting compliments from a lot of different stars that he was shutting people down. Trae Young was one of them. Steph Curry, Jason Tatum, he had really good numbers against too. So he was really cooking. His shot still needs work. I think that's his big thing, but his athleticism and defense is already there. So those are two that stuck out to me for progress, I would say.
What about regression and who surprised us here?
Who surprised me? Well, okay, I'll start with regression. I would say Kispert had room for improvement this year just because he didn't stand out as much as you would have wanted. I think he's stagnated a little bit. He hasn't regressed that much as stagnated. But I think that in terms of his role on the team going forward, that might be a regression because I think that going forward now, right, it's a new regime. He's one of the older guys he's one of the holdovers. I don't know if he'll fit in long-term as a piece. He did just sign that new deal, but that could just get to be traded somewhere else eventually, maybe this offseason, depending on what they want to do. But I think that for that, I would say is Kispert because his 3-point shooting is still, I believe, below 40%, which is not what you want to see for a catch and shoot specialist. He still can make them, but he still has room for growth there. And biggest surprise, honestly, is Sarr's offense. So I knew he was going to be good on defense, but I think he made 5 threes against the Nuggets. That's not what I expected coming in, especially against against the best player in the league. So Sarr's bag is pretty impressive. He can, move the ball up the floor. He can, do spin around drives and all this stuff, floaters. He's pretty much, and his passing as well. It's just everything on offense has been a way far advanced from what I think everyone expected as a 19-year-old defensive specialist. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's definitely encouraging because now he's going to open up so much more stuff going forward for the offense.
No, I agreed on all points, man. Definitely agree 100%. What are you thinking, AB?
Yeah, I just want to emphasize everything what Josh just said. Again, I will start off with Alex Sarr. 5 summer league games. A lot of people, a lot of, especially even Wizards fans, unfortunately, were calling this man off, saying he was a bust, saying he wasn't going to be good. And the fact that he just keeps getting better. And we talked about it throughout the beginning of the first half of the season where we needed him to be more aggressive, don't be so hesitant on taking that jump shot. Obviously, take some jumpers every now and then. If it's going in, take it, but take it to the hole. You're 7 foot for a reason. I talked also about Bilal Coulibaly defensively, like you mentioned it, Josh, Jason Tatum, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Trae Young, being able to lock up guys like that in your second year. Hopefully in year 3, we see the offensive usage go up and just consistency. And Corey Kispert, as much as I was a big fan of him coming out of Gonzaga, I think his time here in DC, his days are numbered. With the emergence of Keyshawn George, his 3-point shooting, it just really, and especially since he's younger and a two-way player, he offers so much more than Corey. So I do see, I wouldn't say regression, but I just see, unfortunately, him being out of here. And surprise for me, Champagny, man. This guy came out of nowhere from the Capital City logo. His ability to make an impact and just defensively being out there getting double-digit rebounds as a 6'5", 6'6" guy going over top some taller dudes. Like, it's just all part of the youth movement, and legit, it's just exciting. I can't wait for these next couple of years when they try to build a contender here in DC.
Oh, yeah, I agree with both of you gentlemen, man. Looking at progression, you got to look at all 5 draft picks on the Will Dawkins. Now, to a lesser degree, you kind of want to see more from Vucevic. And then, look, he could play. He just needs the minutes. And when given the minutes, he produces, man. So all 5 draft picks on the Will Dawkins have shown some kind of promise. They've shown that they could be key contributors down the road. Bilal and Alex Sarr, like you mentioned, Josh, both of them very raw coming out of the draft. And Bilal looked like he was starting to really ramp up. Looked like he might have been breaking out. And I think he will put the work in. And year 3 is going to be very important for him. So definitely expect for him to kick it in the next gear in year 3. But Alex Sarr, come on now. 5 summer league games, they already called this man a bust. I mean, he has gotten better and better and better. And now he's putting in work, man. Everything that we've asked him to do, he's done. Show more touch around the rim. He's doing that. Playing with his back to the basket. He's doing that. Rebounding. He's doing that. Not being so reliant on that 3-point or mid-range shot. He's doing that. So, he's easily coachable. That's the biggest thing. When you look at what is the common denominator with all 5 of these draft picks on the Will Dawkins, well, they're all versatile. They can defend and play multiple positions. They can all defend. Now, 3 out of 5, they can already play at a high level in offense, in my opinion. Bub, you see the scoring potential. Keyshawn, come on now. I mean, Keyshawn, to me, I'm gonna get into surprises because he was the biggest surprise for me. But once Bilal and once Alex Sarr really figures out the offense game on a consistent basis, watch out, NBA. I'm trying to tell you, all 5 draft picks he hit, and we still got 2 first-round picks in 2025, 2 first-round picks in 2026. I mean, then we got every pick swap from Phoenix known to man. So, and then about 40 second-round picks. So we're definitely heading in the right direction. So as far as progression, I see progression from all 5 of these draft picks, man. You can kind of look at Jordan Poole, the fact that he had such an up and down first year in DC, put the work in, really became a voice in the locker room, really stepped it up, playing at an all-star level. Regression. Yeah, Corey Kispert. He just didn't play the level that we expect, being that sniper, being that slasher, showing that high basketball IQ. And I'm with you, Josh. I'm not really saying that regression is stagnation. He was stagnant. I definitely think he can do a lot more. I mean, he's that sniper. So yeah, it was not so much regression, but stagnation. Surprise to me, I knew that Keyshawn George could shoot coming out of the University of Miami. Now his defense surprised me. I mean, he is a 2-way dog. I mean, defensively, you see the instincts. You see him being, active in passing lanes, the energy. I mean, that was one part of his game that really surprised me because, again, I expected him to be that sniper coming out of the draft, out of the U, and he has shown that he's going to be a 2-way star, in my opinion. I mean, and again, we got him at what pick? The 24th overall pick. Tommy doesn't do that. Ernie Grunfeld does not pull that off. I'm just saying, man. You know what I mean? Like, the trade for Bub. I get it. The Deni Avdija trade was not the most popular trade, but Bub Carrington is going to be a heck of a player in this league, man. And then Alex Sarr, number 2 overall. Obviously, if you want to go to Atlanta, he's probably number 1. So we're probably looking at a scenario where it's Reece Sachet or Donovan Clingan, but Alex Sarr's gotten better. So I'm with you on that front, guys. So we're going to get into the draft coming up. We're going to look at it in multiple scenarios, top 3, top 5, and should we trade back? Looking at Derek Queen now. All right, so before we get into that, y'all, tonight's episode is brought to you by Robinhood. With Robinhood Gold, you can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on retirement contributions. The privileges of the very privileged are no longer exclusive. Come on now. With Robinhood Gold, your annual IRA contributions are boosted by 3%. Plus, you also get 4% APY on your cash and non-retirement accounts. That's over 8 times the national savings average. The perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive your 3% on annual IRA contributions, sign up for free at Robinhood.com/gold. But look, Investing involves risk. Rate subject to change. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 3 years or 5 years. Excuse me. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Over 8 times the national average savings account interest rate claim is based on data from FDIC as of November 18, 2024. Robinhood Financial LLC, member ISIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC. Tonight's episode is also brought to you by Game Time. There's nothing like watching basketball live. Let me tell y'all, man, the energy of the crowd, the sound of the sneakers on the hardwood, and the hot dogs, and even a celebrity sighting courtside from time to time. If you want to catch a game in person, Game Time makes getting tickets easier than ever. Game Time's new feature, Game Time Picks, filters out all the fluff and shows you only the best deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time scrolling through thousands of tickets. And you guys know me, I go to games all year round. Baseball season coming up, man, so you're definitely going to catch me in Nats Park, Camden Yards. Definitely Cat 1 in basketball season and football season. My much beloved Commanders. Come on now. So Game Time gives you all the opportunities to not only get the best tickets for the best price, but for the best view. Take the guess we're going to buy tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. And again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. All right, y'all, let's get back into this thing. So, looking forward, we are in the last full month of the NBA season. Obviously, in April, they got like 7 games. So, we're close to the finish line. And obviously, with us not being a playoff team, we need to start looking forward to the draft. So, looking at the draft, I'm going to throw some scenarios at you guys. And I'm going to start with my guy, AB. Let's assume they're in the top 3. Let's say they get the number 2 overall pick. Because obviously, number 1 is pretty obvious who they go with. So, number 2, who you rolling with, AB?
I'm going with my guy, Ace. The other guy from Rutgers. I just feel like right now, Dylan Harper, I mean, again, I think it's just the guard abundance that we have here in DC. I think it's just too much. At this point, you get a guy like him on the wing with his scoring ability and his ability to just put the ball in the hoop. It's just obviously, Cooper Flag, that's the guy we want at 1. But at the end of the day, Ace Bailey's my number 2, especially when you count him fit. And obviously 3 is Harper. But if we're at 2, again, second year in a row, you got to go with Ace.
Okay, I can rock with that. What do you think, Josh?
Number 2, I'm actually going Dylan. I'm not as worried about fit on this team yet. I still think the team is in the beginning stages. Not at the very beginning, but still towards the beginning of the rebuild. I'm not too worried about making Dylan fit in or whatever. I just think you can fit around him in the future. Because he's pro ready right now. I think he could be someone with a Cade Cunningham type ceiling. So I don't want to pass up on that just because we already have guards or whatever, I think that best case scenario, he can be Cade, but even his floor is still like a pretty solid player. He can at least be a solid starter. So
I like that comp. Man. Cade Cunningham's a good comparison for Dylan Harper because if you look at the size and skill set, I agree 100%. Man, that's a tough one because both of them I think can fit here. If you look at Ace Bailey, we need another scorer to kind of take the pressure off of Jordan Poole. Obviously, Bilal, Alex are still trying to find that consistency as far as scoring. So Ace Bailey is going to be a scorer right out the gate. So I think we could definitely use that. But looking at Dylan Harper, I mean, short term, you're looking at Dylan Harper and Jordan Poole. Long term, you look at Bub Carrington and Dylan Harper, and that's not a bad backcourt either way. So I like both of them. I think both of them can definitely fit. So let me ask you a question, Josh. If they draft Dylan Harper, does that mean that Jordan Poole is probably going to be on the way out of DC as far as trade?
I don't think so. I mean, because he's just a rookie still. Like, you don't have to deal him right away. You could wait a little bit longer. He's under contract through 2027, so you could wait a little bit on that. And even if it works out with the two of them, you could just, who knows? Maybe Jordan likes it so much here he resigns. But if you don't have to trade him right now unless you get an offer you can't refuse, in my opinion. I don't think it's necessary.
No, I agree 100%. I don't think you had to be in a hurry to move him. You still have 2 years left on his deal. So, give Dylan a year to develop, and then you evaluate him after a year. Because, like I said, after year 3, you need to see progression from this group. Year 4 is when, and I said it here, 2027, they will be a playing team. So I believe there's going to be 1 more year of rebuilding, and I think that 4th and 5th year is where you're going to see them take that next step, playing a seed, try to get into the playoffs, and then 6 and 7 we're definitely cooking with oil, man. AB, I got a question for you too, man. Ace Bailey. So if we roll with Ace Bailey, where are you playing Bilal? Are you pushing him to the 2 guard? What are you thinking?
Yeah, no, that brings up a good point. For me, I think it's just offensively, if Bilal is just not there, I don't know if you really can put him at the 2. I love him defensively, but if the consistency is not there, I don't know. That's what makes this whole thing interesting. It's this whole offseason going into the decisions, Jordan Poole's future, what they're gonna do if they don't get the number 1 pick and they have to go with Harper or Bailey. And also, we're gonna talk about the scenario of potentially pairing up Queen with Sarr is something that I honestly wouldn't mind either. So a lot of options, which is good. For so long here in DC, we really haven't had that many options.
Man, look, it's like going to Golden Corral, man. It's good to have options. I'm just trying to tell y'all, man. So top 5. We fall to the top 5. I'm gonna start with AB real quick, man. Do you trade back, or what prospect would you be willing to look at in the top 5?
I mean, like I just said, I think Derek Queen. I know DMV guy played with Cooper Flag and Mount Vernon. I just think at the end of the day, with his double ability, scoring, and if you match him up with Sarr, put Sarr at the 4, that front court is just going to be like hard to defend, but also hard to score on because they're just, I think defensively they just will be solidifying that paint area. So at the end of the day, with Derek Queen, I wouldn't be against it because, again, it can't be Cooper Flag or bust. I've kind of got that delusion out of my head that it can't just be Cooper Flag. But, yeah, just 2 guys like that, 7-footers would be amazing. And, again, we really haven't had that much of a dynamic when it comes to the forward and center position.
Yeah, I think that with Derek Queen, I don't know if he's quite a 7-footer. What is he?
I think he's 6'10".
6'10". Yeah, 6'10". So taller than I am. I'm just saying. But, so Josh, man, you rolling with Derek Queen? Or who are you thinking if you have the 4th or the 5th pick?
Derek's great. I mean, you could try a Twin Towers lineup with him and Sarr. That's intriguing. There's not like that. I feel like the Twin Tower era in the NBA isn't as much as it used to be, but that could be. You could restart it with that. Maybe they're so good. I like Trey Johnson from Texas. Yeah. He just played last night and he was really good against Xavier. They lost, unfortunately. But he's kind of like Dylan Harper, not quite as good, but he has similar skills, dynamic scorer, and he can pass the ball as well. I think he can be a pretty high floor guy, maybe not the same ceiling. I don't think he'll be a star, but he'll be a really solid guy. I don't think you need to trade back unless it's like one spot and you're just getting a couple extra second rounders or something. You're going to have such a high pick. You'll get someone good,
No, I mean, you bring up a good point, man. Do you necessarily need to trade back? I think that even if you get the 4th or the 5th pick, this draft is loaded. I'm with you. Trey Johnson. I love Trey Johnson. I think he could be one heck of a player here in DC. But Derek Queen, I mean, I'm rocking with you, AB, where, that the defensive front court, man. I mean, Derek Queen, does he really fit the modern day power forward? I mean, he can't stretch too much, even though I definitely think he's going to work in that part of his game. But the energy in the paint, I mean, that will be one tough front court to try to score on, man. So I'm intrigued by Derek Queen, man. I know a lot of people are big on him because, University of Maryland. But yeah, I mean, it's tough, man. I mean, I'm a big Trey Johnson guy. The kid out of Illinois, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. I'm just not big on him. Igor Demine, I kind of like him out of BYU, man. He's got size. He reminds me of Nikola Topic from last year, man. Taller point guard. The shot's not there yet, but the defense and the athleticism and the vision's there. So, I mean, if they're looking for a point guard past Jordan Poole, if they don't see him, past 2 years of his contract as a long-term option, maybe they go point guard. But I think the biggest point that you both made was we have options. We have not always had options here in DC, man. We've been weighed down by max contracts, whether it's Gilbert Arenas, whether it's Bradley Beal, John Wall, or we've had GMs that just couldn't draft to save your life, man. I mean, Ernie Grunfeld couldn't pick. He was terrible at finding talent. And I don't want to hear anybody say John Wall or Bradley Beal because that was pretty obvious choices in their respective draft. I mean, who else do you go number 1 in the John Wall draft? I'm just saying. And the same thing with Bradley Beal. He missed so much in the draft. And then when you look at Tommy, it's not that Tommy Shepard missed in the draft, is that he didn't pick the draft picks that he needed to implement with what the team was doing. I mean, Denny had to be developed. He needed guys that needed to have immediate impact because we had Bradley Beal, we had Kristaps Porzingis, we had Kuzma. So we were still trying to get that AC to that plane. So Denny had to be developed, really had to be developed. Corey Kispert had to be developed, and Johnny Davis is still developing. So, I mean, that's the difference between what we have now and what we had as far as general managers, man. I have all the confidence in the world in Will Dawkins because he's shown that he's a good GM. Is his work done? No, still a lot of work to do, man. But the fact that his first 2 drafts, he's hit on every pick, in my opinion. And look at these trades. I mean, Kyle Kuzma, yes, they waited too long, but still not a bad trade. I mean, AJ Johnson and Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton is going to be a good mentor. So, like I said, very impressed with his front office. So, we're going to get into who has the highest trade value: Jordan Poole, Sadiq Bey, or even Corey Kispert. We're going to talk about that. But before we do, tonight's episode is brought to you by Upwork. Scaling your business requires the right expertise at the right time. With Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more. Experts ready to help you take your business to the next level. Come on now. Upwork gives businesses flexibility by connecting them with top freelance talent across multiple industries, including IT, AI, web development, and marketing. Whether you need extra hands for a project or a long-term partner, Upwork makes hiring simple and affordable. So if you're a small business owner, I definitely recommend Upwork, man. It is your go-to to find the help in all fields, including web development, marketing, and AI, or even IT. So look, visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That's UPWORK.com. Upwork.com to connect with top talent and grow your business today. All right, guys, let's round this thing out. So, trade value time. Now, I call them gray area players, where they're still young, but if you look at the realm of being a veteran, they're still veterans. Especially you look at Jordan Poole with a championship experience, Corey Kispert, the longest tenured Wizard on the roster, and Sadiq Bey putting that work in Detroit and Atlanta. So I'm gonna start with Josh, man. Which one of these guys had the highest trade value in your eyes, and which one of these guys do you see had the highest likelihood of being traded in the offseason?
I mean, the highest value is obviously Poole, right? He's the best player, still young, but in terms of him being traded this offseason, I think it might be a little early. Like I said, unless they get offered, they can't refuse. It seems like he's so bought in. He's so good for the culture here, so good for the locker room. I think he'll stay longer. I think, like what we were saying with Kispert, I don't know if he has a long-term role. I don't know if Dawkins sees him as a fit. So I think that contract might have been a play just to be able to trade him later, you know? I think this offseason, I would be surprised if he didn't get traded. And then I would say a guy like Smart could definitely net something, because he's obviously sort of had a decent run here just in his few games. He's shown you that, you know, he can be healthy and still play pretty well off the bench. So he can definitely get you some second rounders or maybe a younger player again. I think those couple would stick out to me as most likely to be traded.
Now, you brought up a good point. We ain't talking about Rashawn Holmes, Chris Middleton, so you can definitely throw them in the mix too. AB, what do you thinking, bro?
Yeah, no, I agree with Josh. In my opinion, I would be devastated. I think JP has proven enough why he should be the franchise guy here in Washington. Just gotten better. Shaky first half last year, and a lot of people wanted him out. But again, gotten better. You know, took that 6-man role defensively. Limited turnovers. The shot selections at sometimes is still a little frustrating, but not as much. But I think Sadiq Bey, he really out for the year. I really don't know. It probably did affect his trade value. And before he got that injury, I mean, he was averaging at least 15 to 20 points a game. So in Atlanta, in Detroit, I just think right now Corey Kispert, just the fact that he wasn't this regime's guy, it just makes sense for his days to be numbered here in Washington. And again, Marcus Smart could be another guy that they could net. But at the end of the day, I do see JP 13 not getting traded unless it's like an offer you just legit can't refuse. But if there was one guy to go, I just think it would make the most logical sense for it to be Corey Kispert.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I think Corey Kispert is definitely the top candidate to get traded. When he signed that very team-friendly contract extension, man, it really mirrored Denny Avdia, where, you know, it makes it very easy to move on from his contract. Same thing with Kyle Kuzma. So I definitely see. I'm with Josh, man. I would be kind of surprised if they didn't move on from him, but I wouldn't be upset because, like I said, I do value his shooting. I do value his ball IQ, and you know, like I said, the one thing I do love about Kispert is his ability to move without the basketball. That is a skill that you just don't see in the NBA anymore. Usually it's 4 guys on the perimeter and 1 guy in the paint. And then he comes up, he does a pick and roll, pick and pop, and that's the only play they run. Like the NBA game right now is so stagnant. It's 3-point shooting to a fault. And there's nobody moving. Like I said, I always use Ray Allen as an example, man. To me, he not only is he one of the best shooters of all time, but he's one of the best shooters who moves without the ball. Like, if you remember that shot he hit against San Antonio when he was playing with Miami, if you saw the way he moved, man, he had to find the right spot to get that shot off. I mean, so that's a skill you just don't see anymore. So that's one thing I do like about Corey Kispert. But I'm with both of you guys. I think he's definitely a shoe to get traded. Jordan Poole, like I said, very up and down season last year. A lot of people down on him. Played at all-star level, in my opinion, this year. I'm with both of you. I don't see him being traded this offseason. I think if they do intend to move him, it's going to be when he's an expiring contract, the last year of his deal. And that's going to be year 4. So, and like I said, year 4 and 5 are very pivotal to a rebuilding team. So if you're going to move him, that's probably when you're going to move him. And some other factors that can kind of change it. I mean, if they go out and get Dylan Harper, maybe they want to build that chemistry between Harper and Bub, and maybe they entertain deals. I mean, look, they're going to get deals for him. People are going to try to obtain his services, man. Let's be real. I mean, Denver was one team that was looking at him and Jonas Valanciunas. So there's going to be teams that are going to be calling for Jordan Poole. Let's be real. And if they get the trade package that is, that good, then I encourage them to take it. Like I said, I'm a big JP13 guy because the reason why I rock with him so much is not so much because he obviously he can ball, man. To me, it's like people don't put enough on the mental side of ball, right? What he went through in the first year in DC. I mean, especially when he struggled, every sports outlet in the country, if not the world, was ready to go in on this guy, man. He was on Shaqtin' the Fool. You had guys going back and forth, showing a video of him getting punched by Draymond Green and all that, man. I mean, for him to not only put his head down when he got relegated to 6th man, put that work in and flourish, and then when Tyus Jones went down with injury, he stepped in and he took that job. So that's what impressed me about Jordan Poole was the mental side of it, man. The fact that he can handle being the guy. Because not everybody can handle being the guy. Ben Simmons is still recovering from being criticized, man. So being the guy brings expectations, man. So I like to see that from a young player because, look, he still fits the timeline. So if you move him, if you don't see him as part of the long-term future, you move him his last year of his deal. I think this is the best time you move him. I don't see them moving on from him this offseason unless they get a deal too good to refuse. Saddiq Bey is really up in the air. I'm gonna ask you too about him because obviously coming back from ACL injury and surgery, what are your expectations? And I'm gonna start with Josh real quick. What are your expectations of Saddiq Bey when he comes back? What player are you expecting?
Yeah, so it's weird. Like, I don't think anyone really knew that he'd basically be out this whole season. It was just kind of stringing it along, no updates. It was sort of murky. I think next year, he might start out slow because he's going to be rusty, but I do think he can get back to 15 a game if he gets the minutes. I think that's when you want to trade him, sell high, right? Yeah. I wouldn't trade him now because he hasn't played. You might get lowballed for him because there's no leverage there. Yeah. I think he has the athleticism and the skills. I mean, he's had like crazy outings in the NBA. I think he had like a 48-point game or 52-point game a few years ago. I think he can get back to that once he ramps up. Maybe when he gets to December, January, he starts to cook. I could see a story like that for him next season. I think they're going to try to get him the minutes just so that they can trade him sort of like Valanciunas and stuff like that. So that's my prediction.
Okay, I can rock with that. AB, what you think, bro?
No, definitely. I agree with Josh. And we kind of said it, what I was just thinking. At the end of the day, Saddiq Bey, like if he gets those minutes, I think 15 to 20 points. But again, it goes back to that timeline. Will there a lot of mouths to feed, especially with these young guys. So do what you did with the JV route. Play him to a certain point, but make sure you're not ruining the development of the young guys and just trade him at the right value.
Okay, I can rock with that. I agree 100% with you guys, man. ACL is not a distance like it used to be. It used to be where more so the NFL, really, or in baseball, if they're a speed guy, it's not a distance anymore. People, players are able to come back and still have somewhat close to the level of production they had before the injury. So can he still be that guy? Absolutely, I think he can because Detroit, Atlanta, he could play. I mean, two-way prospect, man, a two-way guy who could defend, shoot from three, and then just another shooter on the team. And that's why I think that Corey Kispert is definitely the top candidate to get traded. Like I said, I like Corey Kispert. Big locker room guy, man. Great guy overall. But like I said, every GM comes in and prioritizes their own guys, whether it's through trade, free agency, or in the draft. Every GM does that. And Will Dawkins is putting his own mark on his team. And so when you look at Jordan Poole, that was his first big trade outside of sending Brad to Phoenix. And so he's going to prioritize him a little bit. And when you look at the realm of the Tommy guys, Corey Kispert, let's be real. He's going to value his own guys first. So I agree with both you gentlemen. So before we roll, man, Josh, again, appreciate you coming on the show, bro. Before we roll, man, where can people find you?
Yeah, so I write for Clutch Points, for the I'm on the Wizards beat, and I'm going to cover the Mystics as well this upcoming WNBA season for them. I just wrote an article actually about Wizards draft targets to watch for in the NCAA tournament, so go check that out. But yeah, and I'm at Josh Valdez 100 on Twitter. You can see all my posts on there. I was just posting about how Ted, the owner, is giving a basketball to every DCPS kid in the city. So every K through 5 DCPS kid. So a lot of good stuff on there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like I said, if you don't follow his work or him on X, man, you're doing yourself a disservice. Definitely check my guy Josh out, man, because he knows what he's talking about. AB, man, just put a video out about Michael Gallup, man. Real quick before we roll, man. What do you think about the move, real quick, with Michael Gallup going to the Washington Commanders?
I think for the wide receiver room, I think you kind of solidify it with him. You got Debo and Terry being the 1 and 2, Noah Brown, Luke McCaffrey. Hopefully Luke McCaffrey takes that year 2 jump that we want to see. And now Michael Gallup ties with Dan Quinn in Dallas. So I think it goes hand in hand. I don't mind. You bring him back. Coming out of retirement, knowing that he wants to go on a good team and he thinks Washington is that team. So I'm excited. Abdullah Ayubi on YouTube, but also DMV Sports on Instagram. And yeah, make sure to check out Josh. And this was fun, man. Appreciate it, Josh.
Appreciate you guys.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. Like I said, definitely check out Josh on X and check out his work covering the Wizards, man. Definitely dope content, man. And my guy AB, man, don't even wait. After this video, go check that video out, man. Talking about Michael Gallup, man. Don't even wait, y'all. So, all right, we're going to call it a night. And real quick, everybody, obviously, I will be down at Capital One covering the Orlando Magic Washington Wizards matchup, so we will not be going live because DJ Shaq or DJ Diesel is going to be rocking the place, man, so it's going to be too loud. So, and also, I'll be in North Carolina on Saturday, so we're going to recap both matchups on Sunday, so definitely look forward to that. And I will put the announcement out on X and on YouTube. I better say Twitter. Good Lord. All right, so let's go ahead and call it a night. Thanks again to my guy Josh Valdez, and of course my guy AB, man. Rock with your boy every night. So all right, everybody, hail to the Wizards and peace.
Have a good one, guys.